We started this debate by saying that sex is something private, that sex stays at the bedroom, and this is something that was not be exposed to the people, especially when there's no intrinsic benefit that we can from it. We totally argued this by saying that the state actually even furthers in protecting this right, and it furthers no legitimate interest into including this right. And what was the response? There may be benefits, and what was this benefit that they talked about? That the person might have a connection between the rape victim. We believe that does not necessarily give a benefit, because that in itself is doubtful. Moreover, we also argue that this connection or this sexual history does not prove anything in the court, because for you to judge or acquit a rape case or a rape victim, you should stringe on facts that does prove that the rape actually happened. That does and we believe that the past instances does not necessarily prove that the rape was consensual or something like that. So moreover, let's first sit down. Let's first about the case coming from the previous speaker. His first argument was something that something is as legal contribution, but the second one was conceivable because we. On our side, we also forward the value of the justice system, but in essence, we don't want to include one particular rights at the end of the day. But first, let's look at how we argue this first argument, that the sexual history does create a link towards these victims and the accused as a rapist at the end of the day. We believe that he only proved that there was this connection, and it may have forwarded deception or whatever at the end of the day. But it does not prove that the person will have, or the accused will have an additional benefit once this connection was established at the end of the day. Moreover, it can even be harmful for that accused criminal, because it might show that because there was a connection at the past, it might show that this person used that connection to deceive the person in terms so that they can conduct the rape at the end of the day. So therefore, we believe that this connection shows no positive contribution for that accused and does not forward the legitimacy or the legitimacy of that action. So therefore, justice is not achieved, and this is something that's not beneficial for the justice system itself. So before I move on, yes sir.
Exactly. Because so much doubt exists, that's why it has to be brought out and cleared up.
Here, here. Here.
So first point coming from first argument will be about how status quo would continue to work or would still continue to be affected without this particular avenue coming from the opposition side. So we mean that in terms of law, we must base our facts in terms of what really happens or the connection that we can establish from facts. We mean that the status quo must always be and analyze these things. And even the number one, alibis is something that we can use in status quo, and this can actually create whether or not this person indeed committed that particular rape, or this person was there when that rape happened at the end of the day. Moreover, the state can still use witnesses, a system that does not prove something intrusive to privacy or particular rights. If we use particular witnesses, a person can still testify whether this person indeed did the rape or this person was not there when the rape happened or when the accused rape happened at the end of the day. So we believe the status quo can still work without the compromise of privacy towards these individuals. And thus, given that there was no positive contribution there was no positive contribution of this case towards the possible acquittance, or what do you call this? A possible that the person may be possibly acquitted. Therefore, we should stick to the traditional cases like using alibis, using facts, and using witnesses. A system that does not prove to be intrusive of some rights. So we believe that the justice, the justice is something that we should forward at the end of the day without curtailing such rights, considering that there's no benefit at the end of the day. So before we move on,
the law does not only look at physical evidence. That's why the law takes into account mens rea, the intent of a crime.
So let's look exactly what it proves. That because the sexual history only proves that there was a connection at the end of the day. What exactly would that what would it forward for the person who was accused? Well, what would it forward? Indeed, maybe the defense or the prosecution can even take that advantage by saying that because there was this connection, therefore the person can use that connection to deceive the rape victim and thus even advance the case for the opposition. So moreover, second argument would be how would this create an additional injustice for these particular victims? So we mean that these victims, based on the idea itself, that we use the idea of alibis or witnesses at the end, show that these are people who are raped, who are raped. So we mean that these are monstrous acts acts done against this person. They were raped, they were penetrated without consent at the end of the day. So we believe that this is something that's very crucial for this person. And what does this stance actually does? What it does is that when this person was shown to have a connection, have a connection with this particular individual who was accused of the rape, it would show that this person had the debit of promiscuity, that this person was indeed inviting that rape to happen, or what this person was enticing or provocating that action to happen at the end of the day. We believe that this is a monstrous act because it shows that it stereotypes the person or the woman or the rape victim at the end of the day. And this is something that we definitely see as harmful, because this person can, number one, be stereotyped at the end of the day, because it shows that she accepts this promiscuous actions. And this is something that's very regrettable coming from the opposition side. Moreover, we directly argue that this could add additional burden towards these women, because they're already raped, monstrous acts already done against them, and therefore you already then paint them the picture that this act was invited and that this act was justified because they were promiscuous or something like that. So it could lead to discrimination. It would lead to the legitimization of sexual attempts towards this particular person, because it shows that promiscuity is something that overrides the sex or rape at the end of the day. So we promote additional injustice towards these people, because if we are promoting a stereotype that they invited this action, we're promoting a stereotype that they were indeed provocative of this action, and therefore, in process of achieving your justice, you create injustice towards these people by, number one, invading their privacy, and number two, by promoting this particular stereotype against them. And even if this is something that's regrettable, because justice must always be forward, not by committing another injustice at the end of the day. So by adding this particular burden, we curtail this rights. And this is something that's regrettable. Thank you.
Here.